In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to change the way you think about autism. That's not to say the way you think about it now is incorrect, but I promise that if you take this brief journey with me, you will change the way you think about and speak about autism. When most people hear the word autism, they might think about a socially awkward child, and maybe that child doesn't have great eye contact. People almost always picture a boy when they think of autism. And often they think of that little autistic boy as being a savant, a genius, a Rain Man. It's okay if these are some of the images that came to your mind too. But let's change the conversation by thinking about autism in a different way so we can speak about it differently. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my personal experience with autism, and as a disclaimer, this story is not meant to represent anyone other than me and my family. This is the story of Fred and Leroy, about a woman with an autism spectrum disorder who also happens to be my mother. This is the story about the invisibility of autism. But we don't really think about moms and dads having autism, right? Well, what if I told you that a child with autism is going to grow up to be an adult with autism? And what if I told you that adult with autism can make a baby? Well, for as long as I can remember, my mom has called me Fred and my big sister Leroy, and we call her Moppy. We always knew our family was a little bit different and that our Moppy was really, really different. But of course, you must be wondering, okay, well, what was it like growing up with a mom like that? A mom with autism? How does that even happen? And you might even be wondering if your own mom has autism. Do they even make autistic moms? Well, the easiest way I can describe it is that it's kind of like being in a bilingual, or being bilingual. In a bilingual house, you all speak the same language inside. And so you aren't really aware that you might be different or weird or not like the others. But as soon as you walk out the front door, you realize just how different you are. But it was more than just her communication style. Moppy didn't do normal mom things like housework or cooking or cleaning or asking how her day was at school. She demanded hours upon hours of me time and didn't seem to understand me or my interests. She certainly didn't like hugging. And from a very early age, I really struggled with my need to connect with her. I was an anxious and depressed child, and I needed a mommy to make it all better. And I would think, why doesn't she like me? What am I doing wrong? Is it my fault? And it wasn't until years later that it suddenly occurred to me that she might not be pushing me away on purpose. Maybe I didn't actually do anything wrong. So fast forward to years and years later, to 2007, when Moppy was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. She was 58. But it wasn't like we didn't know, we just didn't have a name for it. So I started to tell her story to like everyone and their mother, and then I wrote about it, and then I got published, and then I got invited to speak at autism conferences, and then our story was featured in a book by Dr. Temple Grandin, and then I did a TEDx Omaha talk, and yada, yada, yada. And people were genuinely interested in hearing how an undiagnosed woman with ASD was able to have a job and a marriage and 2 children. And people started to see my Moppy as a symbol of possibility for their loved one with autism. But let me just tell you the true gift that has come from this advocacy in my family's so-called coming out of the autism closet. Moppy has learned to accept herself. After years of being bullied and teased and feeling less than and never fitting in and always getting it wrong, she now understands how our story can help others. Together, we have spoken to our elected officials, and we have strategized with service providers and educators and the media, and hopefully we have started to change the conversation. And I hope that because of our story, people will think about and speak about autism differently. No more when the kids grow up or kiddos on the spectrum need us, because autistic adults need our support now. not sometime in the future. Because like I said, autism doesn't become invisible after childhood. A child with autism will grow up to be an adult with autism. We have to change the conversation. And I invite you to join us. Thank you.